on yourself for long enough. You know, don't stand in the way of karma either. Karma's dishing out. And you know this. You know, at the end of the day, you understand your connection to the source. You understand your oneness. You understand your divinity. You know that literally teamwork makes the dream work. You have to care. And so you never would have done them the way that they did you. And that's okay. You know, maintain that. Don't lose sight of that. That was correct. You know, but you are going to watch heavy karma get played out all through the community right now. And that is good and bad. You know, the universe doesn't play favorites. The universe doesn't, has no bias judgment, has no emotion towards what you're going through. However, what you put into the world, you will get out of it. A lot of us in this, you know, in the spiritual community know this all too well. You know, and so I feel like as you are watching all of the drama unfold and all of, you know, Saturn's swift justice coming in and some of these, you know, planetary shifts, you're emanating, you're shining, you're magnetic. It is time to stop playing small. You know, remember how far you have come. Look back on your journey and then ask yourself, you know, at what point did you start feeling like maybe this was wrong and you started doubting yourself again? This whole thing was about trusting yourself, you know, moving forward and having faith, you know, blind faith, knowing this would come in for you. That always worked in the past, did it not? You know, in fact, that innocence, that belief is a big part of what has gotten you so far. You know, you're relentless. You don't give up. You don't know when to quit. And that is a very beautiful thing if channeled correctly. And so, you know, right now is a really heavy time to emphasize on doing your shadow work. You know, making sure that you're really hitting those aspects of self where you came to a crossroads, where, you know, you had more than one option to take, and what did you choose? Did you learn your value without selling your soul? You know, these are the real questions here, because you are not being called to continue staying in hermit mode. You're being called to get out there. You're being called to share your testimony. No more playing small. It's time. Baby, this is literally the darkness that taught you how to shine. The worst has already passed for you. So why are you still holding back? That's the question here. Don't become so addicted to chaos in your life that you block out your blessings. You know, you've gotten so good at boundaries here lately and putting up those walls that they're so high that your blessings can't even get in, because you aren't allowing anything in or out. You cannot heal and assist people in hiding. You know, and that's the energy that you've been in, is that you've been in hiding, and you were never meant to sleep on your power. You were meant to go forth and handle your shit. You know, you're gonna have to learn how to trust again. It's a part of it. Rebalance yourself. You know, and you know what, when you do this in front of your audience. Because you know what, that is your humanity. That is how you relate to them. We've all been through it. You know, there is no perfect way of doing this path work. There is no one singular way of doing it. We all walk our own path, and we all stumble. We all fall short. Guess what? The spiritual person is entitled to have bad days. The spiritual person is allowed to get depressed. they're allowed to be happy. You know, just because you're a leader does not mean that you are not allowed to show emotion, does not mean that you are not allowed to show humanity. In fact, that is encouraged. Don't forget where you were when you started and show them that if you can do it, they can too. You know, no more withdrawing, no more hermit mode. It's time. It's time. I hope that helps. I love you. You got this. Keep fucking going.